Sorry I'm a little late right there. I was waiting on some food for dinner. And of course, my daughter went to sleep, so she has a nice pizza sitting next to her. Well, thank you for all coming to my channel. Just talking a little bit of game dev with you guys. Hopefully, we can kind of learn from each other and maybe entertain ourselves while looking at various aspects of game design and development. And yeah, anything from coding to art, design itself. I suck at sound, but always willing to learn. We can learn it together. Alright, so what I have here is the Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition Aurora toolset. This is what us old fogies used back in the day. I mean, modding community basically. And it was actually pretty nice for its time. It's a 3D game. You could actually import different assets, models, skins. You can even augment the um, files for how they had the stats for like classes and races and everything, because this is based on Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition, which is not one of my favorite ones, but for its time it was pretty nice. Actually, do I have the Diamond Edition also installed on here? Let's see. No, maybe not. So many discs upstairs. Anyways, so there's big modding community still out there for this. Unfortunately, with this new release that just came out from Dog last month, the files that we use to modify classes, races, feats, and everything are in a format I haven't been able to crack. As I said in the intro video, .biff file. The 2DAs that were used back in the day were two-dimensional arrays, which is basically a spreadsheet. And that was nice because you could just add a line, follow the format, and then the code would read it in when you started the mod, and it was pretty cool. Right here, what I have open is an old project because I'm a Final Fantasy nerd, or at least I was back in the day. So Final Fantasy IV. I think it was Pat Holloman, the reverse game design guy, who said that if you want to learn how to do game dev, then figure out how to copy features. I think it was, but basically take something and just kind of deconstruct it. And he does that with his reverse game design videos. They're pretty good, and the write-ups he did. So what I was doing back in the day is modifying Neverwinter Nights using their tool set to make Final Fantasy IV, which was my favorite Final Fantasy at the time. This was, of course, back when you only had through Final Fantasy 8 or 9. I think 10 may have just come out. Yeah, so 10 X2 era. That's the latest. This, that's yeah, I'm old. So with this tool set, it actually you notice if you've ever used RPG Maker, especially the newer ones, very similar. You have your area lists. Per area, though, they break it down what's in the area with the creatures and everything. Same thing with the database for, or sorry, same thing with the shit in RPG Maker. But if you want to modify something, RPG Maker made it easier to just add something to a database with some features. You can do that here, item creator and whatnot. In fact, let's go and say screw it. Let's make an item. Just dive right in there, both feet. And I have to remember how to do this because I haven't done this so long. Okay. Item wizard. There it is. Most everything's driven by wizards in this old one. I mean, they could have just given you access to their list, like RPG Maker. Go down, put in the stuff. But the key thing is start thinking about not just the items themselves, but what properties they have. If you want to make a sword, okay, what style sword is it? and if that matters. In Dungeons and Dragons, it does because the base damage and everything, proficiencies and whatnot, and there's actually other pieces you should be thinking about. And it's very interesting. I mean, we can just go through here, throw up a quick longsword. Why not? Go classic. You give it a name, whatever we want. If it's magical, we can tell it whatnot, and it just kind of walks you through it. Um, we can tell where it's supposed to go. Um, so throw it under the long swords, and I'm gonna launch the item properties. Okay, so this again. I mean, I can keep comparing this to RPG Maker however long I want to do so. What you have here, like an RPG Maker, what does it look like? They actually allow you to modify it here, which will modify both the model and the icon in your inventory. But what properties that have cost? These are the kind of elements when you're dealing with game design that you want to consider when you break it down. It's very similar to if you've worked with databases where you have your UML diagrams. You break down, okay, what's the subject and what are its parts? And then you can start making relations. How does that relate to something? Like, okay, the category longswords, base type item, those things. The category longswords, I believe, is what's used to relate it to proficiencies in the game itself. So when you're doing your designs, especially when you get into things like coding, you're going to have to figure out how to properly relate it without causing any issues, which brings to mind the next piece. I'm going to show you what happens when you kind of rush the job a little bit, but circumstances forced it. I'm going to bring up here a little project that myself and my team did, Josh Mallard and Tai Taeyong Kim. He's from New Zealand. But we worked as a team for the Not at GDC Jam, which was those of us who are too poor to go to the industry stuff. Well, yeah. But it was actually fun. Got to meet a lot of cool people. You see this little icon here. It's actually hosted on Ty's page. I do not recommend running it in the browser. In fact, keep in mind, I will run it in the browser. Keep in mind your platform. I'm throwing a lot at you guys, I know, but if you keep in mind what platform you're building to, that each one has some little peculiarities going with it. In the actual standalone for this one, we were able to get at least the basic combat type. Notice, I got doubling. But here in the WebGL one, nothing's happening. So, notice a couple things. The score is rocketing. They're walking up to him, but nothing's really happening. Something that was actually pointed out by when Rain Shadow did her stream of the Not at GDC Jam stuff is, people were noticing you don't know what to do. And so that's something to think about as well, that on-screen cue. I got it working a little bit. I did the coding on this, the programming. Josh did the music, which I don't think you can hear it in the browser. I'm actually going to pull up the Windows version of this in a minute. And then Ty, he did the art, which is really freaking good. But the on-screen cues to kind of give you, the player, an idea where they can go, what they can do. Obviously, a player is going to go, okay, I can go up a ladder most likely. Move left and right. Okay, boom, can't move that way or down there. I was hoping the doorway was good enough, but it wasn't. So this is actually going to also, because I'm not doing garbage collection, it's going to start to slow down and bog down. But I did download the standalone version, and I'm going to pop that open in a second. As soon as I stop that from running and completely destroying my computer. Uh, where did I put this anyway? Um, Here, make my life a little bit. Actually, I downloaded it. Maybe it's over here. So, yoink. Maybe? Nah. Yeah, pardon me for a minute. I gotta find it. Oh, jeez. But you'll notice none of the goblins in the end browser version were doing anything other than walking, and they weren't really dying or anything. So combat was completely broken. Uh, but that's how object relations. I have three basic things related in that scene. Um, Four if you want to count the player character, which is the actual treasure chest, and that's the uh, items sitting on the shelf, which you kind of want to give the player some feedback, like those icons I had in the corner, to tell them they picked one up. Sound effects, visual effects, those are all important. The that item's related to the chest because the chest carries it. Then related to the big head dude knight sitting out there at the front by what items he's using to attack the goblins. And then of course you got to relate it to the goblins and how it's interacting with them to fight them. So you have these dependencies between different pieces of your program, and you want to be careful about these dependencies. It got really crazy, as you might have seen. What did he even call that? Pardon. Thank you for your patience, because holy crap. Oh, that's what he called it. Oh, there. Right. One moment. Sorry, having some dinner. Nope. Definitely not Hey Cortana. Huh. Isn't this interesting? Nope, 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 nope. Oh, joy. So, I have somehow lost the file. I know it's sitting on here somewhere, but I can't find it. Oh, jeez. I am such a dummy. Could it be... Oop, no! Definitely don't want to open that. Not this time. Maybe next time. Oh, my computer. I don't know, some of you guys got some really good gaming rigs. Us old people with our responsibilities can't afford that. Nah. What we got is we got off-the-shelf Walmart computers that we upgraded. That's what we got. So. Doop, 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 doop. And you guys are getting a peep into all my little projects that I never finished. Oh, joy. Uh-huh, uh-huh. No, no, no. Maybe? Did I? Could it be? There. it be? Nope, not there. No. And now I'm going to thwack myself on the forehead. Pardon me. Because I think I found it. There it is. Oh, joy. I think the 1.1 build. Which one is it? Oh, that's compressed. Okay. No. Maybe? No? No? I know it's in here somewhere. Nope. No. Where did it go? Where did it go? Huh. I know it's around here somewhere. I know it. Because I seen it. I seen it, I tell ya. Whatever. Oop. Ba 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 ba. Uh, Alright, we're gonna have to do this the hard way then. Or the easy way, however you want to think of it. Well, just gonna open the project file and we can play it in the editor. Why not? Because it'll play it just like it does in the standalone version. So I just wasted 5 minutes, but you guys stuck around, which is nice. Boy, do I hope my microphone audio isn't so light you can't hear me. And I hope you enjoy the music because Josh Mallard worked really hard on it and he did really good with the sound. Okay. Again, no on-screen cues. You have no idea where I am going. Ooh, see, the sound is nice. What's going on? Well, again, when you rush it, another relation that I was not talking about. Oh, there they are. Something to hopefully we can work on together. So not necessarily something that epic, but definitely as a community we work on something small, like pinball with one flipper or something, or a fish that floats around the water. And that's where we'll get into scope. So if we take if we have too large of a scope. It's going to take too long. And do you guys really want to stick with me for that long? Please do. Please stay with the channel. But one of the nice things, we all start with like jotting our ideas down on paper, which is really good. Notes are really good. Um, but organizing the notes. It's real important the notes end up being organized. You can get templates out there all the time, or all over the place you can get some templates. But I'm actually going to pull up the document for one of my projects. Maybe right here. Oh, jeez. Where did I put it? Nope, D&D, Pathfinder. Love those games. Love them. They're awesome. Here it is. Game design. All these nice little game design programs, game design documents. Final project. Okay. So a game design document, boring as it is to make one, it helps organize your thoughts. Even if you just make sure each subject matter is in a different notebook, piece of paper, or location, kind of keep them grouped together. So, did I just lose my... No, I just had a stupid thing on the screen. Okay, so, boom. This is like a basic one, kind of, we can go through over the next few weeks if you want. But, kind of what's your game about? How are you mainly going to have the player play it? And thinking about it on the granular level, which I'm going to show you down here how you can get pretty granular. You need to think about these things because these are decisions you're going to end up making for your game. And it's going to really help if you have it jotted down. Because in that moment, it's a mistake I was making with that other one, with the goblins. In the moment, decisions you're going to have to make when you don't have that reference to look at are going to cause you to make some really sloppy development decisions. So, and what we just landed on here, a character design, something down here, move sets. Move sets, that's how your character is going to move. I don't care if he's 3D, 2D, or voxel, or cubixel, whatever. Without knowing how they're going to move, this is going to help your animation flow states. This is going to help you figure out what to draw, like what poses to put them in. Standing with a rifle, aim and shoot, sit with rifle, walk with rifle over the shoulder. Like, what even, how are you going to move between them? Are there other states that you want to do? Sketches are, you're going to sketch that shit. And I have some pages that are pretty extensive for one of my other projects on 2 to 3 pages just setting up the animations for something, which I will show you my poor attempt at doing so. Yep. In fact, let's go to that right now, because got to keep you entertained. And I think this is still in the older version, so I'm not going to open it in the new one and convert it yet. Otherwise, I might break something in front of you guys, and then that would be really embarrassing. Enjoy the silence. Ah. I do not do quiet well, and I apologize. Because you'll hear some really silly things come out of my mouth. Okay. Nice little plane models here sitting on the screen. And I think I have it wired up already. I just haven't touched this in a while. Unfortunately, I don't remember my controls. So, let me read up on them. Okay, turnaround, I did J. I guess I did that for a J turn or something. So here. And such beautiful water effects. Oh, whee! Yes, and you can do this too, except for you don't want to know something that's a problem right now. It's actually throwing off the axis. It was a problem I never fixed before I switched to a different. There it is. And it's rotating between. Oh, nice. Why is it? Oh, I don't know. Anyways, so. Oh, no. Control! No! Okay. I don't remember where I was going. Alright, so. Move sets. Okay. So I had to wire up. Here, I'll show you the animator for a minute. Joy. That was what, this one? Yep. Okay. See how complicated that is? That's not actually very complicated compared to a lot of them. In fact, that's a simplified version of the animation states. What's flowing from one to the next? Um, Namely, this again goes back to relations. Can a state go between two states, moving and idle, or can it only go in one direction, moving to bank turn, or from a bank turn to the moving animation for a direction? And that's something to consider when you're doing the states. Your move sets, like on that sketch. If your move sets are not well thought out, then you're not going to get it done right. Heck, if they are well thought out, you still end up with a rotation issue that you got to fix later. But it's worth it. So that is what I have for you guys today. Just a whole lot of blah, and hopefully it was entertaining. But I look forward to you guys joining in on this. Open it up in the chat, and we can discuss whether it's chopping it up about movesets, animators, programming. If you have questions, go ahead and ask. We can work through a problem. If I don't know it, let's find out together. And if I do not, I'll show you what I know. Maybe we can start putting together little mini games like tilt ball or something to get a ball to go between a maze. Alright, you guys have a good day, and enjoy my annoying voice and old rants.